Hello and welcome to the Alpha Alpha Gal. My name is Meredith. I have had Alpha Gal for almost one full year and am really ready to start sharing. How did I get Alpha Gal? It's a tick bite, obviously, in early September of 2022. I was helping some children at a local pond that were fishing that needed some help. A fish had swallowed their hook, and I'm clearly the one that can't say no to children, so of course I said, yes, I'll help you. And I had to walk through some tall brush and grass to get there. Didn't think anything of it. That night, I came home much later, went ready to get ready for bed, and noticed a mark on my leg, which was a very small tick, no bigger than the head of a pin. And I removed the tick, showered, and went to bed. A month later, which would have been October of 2022, I started showing extreme symptoms of extreme dizzy spells, very dizzy spells, fatigue, brain fog, just overall not feeling well. And I had the first two reactions that were systemic while I was traveling. I was on a work trip in a hotel. I had had half a hamburger for dinner. I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't finish it. And in the middle of the night, I woke up and I was kind of itching, didn't know what to think. And when I got out of bed at 5 a.m., I was covered in hives. And I thought that it was topical and that the hotel must have changed the laundry detergent or something like that, to which they said, no, everything's the same. I had an expired Benadryl and I had an expired Claritin in my travel bag. That's all I had, so that's what I took. Went to work. 2 days later, same business trip. I had a gyro for lunch, and then at the airport, I had a hamburger, cheeseburger actually, and got on the plane, and within a couple hours, I had extreme stomach pain and extreme discomfort, and I started itching, and wherever my clothes was tight or touching my skin, I was starting to feel pain and great discomfort. I wanted a parachute, get me off this plane. It was that bad. I actually got home a little after midnight at the plane landed, and I had an hour's drive. At my age, I called my mother and said, I'm just very tired. Maybe you could talk to me on the way home, because I needed to be distracted. I was in that great of discomfort. I didn't tell her what was happening. I said, I'm home. Good night. Thank you. And I got home, and when I went to get ready for bed, I saw I was covered, and the hives were the size of my hands, all over my body, and my hands had swollen so large. They were bright red. My fingers were big fat nubs stuck on the end of big round balls. I started feeling swelling in my throat and eyes, so I did drive myself at that point to an urgent care. And they treated me immediately for anaphylactic shock. And within 2 days, I was getting blood tests done. I did have to ask for the blood test to be alpha-gal. The only common denominator for me and my illness was a hamburger. I had had a hamburger both times that I got sick, so I'm an obsessive researcher. I have to read and learn relentlessly about everything. So I was Googling allergy to hamburger or something, and it kept coming back with this alpha-gal syndrome. And I thought, that's crazy. I've never heard of this. I don't think that's what I have. So I did tell the doctor. I said, I just thought I'd tell you that I did have a tick bite in September, and that I did have a hamburger both nights, and I had a gyro for lunch, and I'd like to see if you'd at least test me for that. And the doctor goes, very unlikely, but we will test you for it. 3 days later, I got a phone call that said, we have great news for you. You do not have Lyme disease. You do not have Rocky Mountain spotted fever, but you do have alpha-gal syndrome. And my numbers did test a little bit on the high side. For numbers for alpha-gal, the higher your numbers, the worse your allergy is. And that number is a sliding scale. It can go up or down based on your reactions and how long the tick was on or how your body has ingested that alpha-gal. Alpha-gal is present in all mammalian meat and their byproducts. Some people do not have the reaction to cheese or milk products, which is that byproduct, and some people do. Your blood tests will be the delineation of what level of alpha-gal you are and if you test positive on the dairy side of that. I immediately pouted. No additional testing was done. It was just, yes, your blood test shows these numbers. You do have alpha-gal. Be careful what you eat. And yours shows high on venison, pork, beef, and dairy. Not every single alpha-gal person has an allergy to the dairy. Mine showed very high. We raised cattle for a hobby on the side. Freezer full of meat that we couldn't eat. So the journey that I will be sharing over all of these videos will be within the year's time, or just under a year, how I've learned to daily deal with alpha-gal syndrome, how I've learned to travel with alpha-gal, how I've developed recipes in my home that other people enjoy and don't even realize this is an alpha-gal safe meal. I'll be sharing the mental side. There's a very harsh depression that is common with alpha-gal, and it's normal to feel anger. It's normal to feel fear, apprehension. I became very reclusive and just stopped participating in activities. The mental side is very challenging. You have a choice. You can choose to say, my life has changed. I don't like this, and you can choose to let it dominate you, or you can choose to say, I will beat this, I will adapt, and I will overcome. The mental side of it is what will change everything. The mental side of alpha-gal syndrome has been far more challenging for me than managing my symptoms and managing what I eat. A lot of the things that have helped me on this successful journey and improve my overall health and improve my sleep and improve the ability to manage the actual illness and lessen the symptoms. We're going to talk about the toolkit. What is the toolkit that you need when you're traveling? What's the toolkit you need in your car? What's the toolkit you should have in your purse? What's the toolkit you need if you're at a restaurant? How do you order from a restaurant? What restaurants are already alpha-gal friendly? How do you discuss your illness with people that you work with without offending them for not trying their fancy new whatever they brought to work that day? I'll help provide you tools, verbiage, tips, tricks, and emotional support, because it is a journey and you are not alone. You do not have to do this alone. And there are more and more resources daily. Thanks for joining the TheAlphaAlphpaGal. I'll do my very best to make this funny, fun, educational, and health-driven. So as we go through this, we'll discuss a little bit more of the science or the medical side of alpha-gal. So like and subscribe. Come back and see the alpha-gal. I don't know.
That was cute.